Welcome in. NESN Bets Kickoff here inside the PNC studio. Travis Thomas with my main man, Sam Panayotovich. Sammy P is what I call him. Monday Night Football, baby. 49ers. Vikings?
Maybe a little lower. Maybe under the table.
I mean,
this team has 2 wins. One against Carolina, one against Chicago.
Right.
Both teams that could realistically be in the bottom 3 of the NFL. So we haven't seen the Vikings do anything great all season.
No.
And as you brought up today on TV, it's not like they blew those teams out either.
Right. They barely won those games. By the way, the market suggests what we suggest. Niners a touchdown favorite here. Total 44, maybe a play there. I don't know. As you look at this game, what is the play? Because I'm laying all the points here with the Niners. If you're barely beating bad teams, what are the Vikings going to do with the 49ers, who are on a completely different planet than them?
Give up points.
Ooh.
So rather than lay 7, and I understand, I'm not going to talk you out of laying 7 here. This would not be a spot where I would take 7. I'd rather lay it than take the points.
Okay.
But let me interest you, perhaps, in a little San Francisco team total. It is 25.5. So you go over that, you need 26 or more.
Yep.
4 touchdowns is 28. That's a winner. I would rather go over on San Fran's team total because they should move the ball at will. Minnesota's defense is horrible right now.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, the Bears' backup quarterback last week is going up and down the field with ease.
Wow.
What's Brock Purdy going to do with Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk? Now, Deebo Samuel is out for this game, and so is the left tackle, Trent Williams. But still, so what?
Yeah.
I'm over on San Francisco at 25.5.
Yeah, I like that. Listen, I like the over for the game, too, if you want to look at the game total. 44 here. I feel comfortable with the Niners. Sammy P just broke that down for the team total. And even though I'm making fun of the Vikings here, I still think they'll be able to put up some points in this game. I don't believe they'll get smoked to the point where, it's a shutout or something like that. So I think the Vikings will be able to manufacture enough points to get you over 44. Let's get into some of these playa props.
Okay.
I mean, you look at this board, obviously Purdy, 239.5 passing yards for him, 1.5 passing touchdowns there. Kirk Cousins, 242 passing yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns there. Where would you go? The only one maybe I consider, as I just said, I think the over is the play in this game in terms of the total. Maybe it's Kirk Cousins in a losing type situation. Maybe he's throwing the ball everywhere to try to throw the Vikings back in. But I'm not in love with any of these.
I think the limitations, and I use that word loosely because McCaffrey's going to be able to go tonight.
Sure.
I don't think they're going to hand him the ball 25 times, though, right? Because you're trying to ease him back into the offense, keep him healthy.
Right.
So less runs for McCaffrey means more throws for Brock Purdy. And in Shanahan offenses, the short passing game is an extension of the run.
Right.
And they get those screen passes for big plays, like 15, 20 yards sometimes. They got a variety of different backs that can make it happen out of the backfield. I look at the Purdy number, and I always like to show off my sheet here with all the circles and marks and colors. I have Brock Purdy circled up. So over 239.5 here, which plays into a guy you like in George Kittle.
Yes.
McCaffrey, clearly a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball and turn upfield. I like the over 239.5 on Brock Purdy, passing.
Well, that was a beautiful transition because I do like George Kittle to get in the end zone tonight, plus 135 for a touchdown from him. But even looking at his receiving yards, if I'm thinking he's getting in the end zone, I like him to have a big game. I go over 49.5 receiving yards for George Kittle here in this game. Listen, the last few weeks, with the exception of last week against the Browns where no one could do anything for the Niners, Kittle was starting to turn up. He was starting to get hot. So I think this will be a big night for him, especially with McCaffrey's injury concerns, we'll call it. And we know Debo's out. I think it's a big night for Kittle.
Okay. Touchdown, what, plus 145?
Plus 135, plus 140, depending on where you shop.
Sure.
Anyone else you like? No player?
Well,
not even on the Viking side
I like
at all?
McCaffrey to score, but,
but
not
it's
at
too
minus
juicy.
205. How about McCaffrey to score twice?
Oh.
At plus 330.
That's creative.
Because we've seen it happen, and if there's a defense that can do it, it's him. Or it's it, right? It's Minnesota's defense.
Yeah.
I don't love a lot of the touchdown props in this game.
Okay.
We're going to get into a sleeper in a little bit, but I don't have any touchdown bets I've made yet.
All right, better bet. Brock Purdy, 235.5 passing yards, or Kirk Cousins, 242.5 passing yards? Sounds like you're in Purdy.
Yeah, Purdy. I'm on Purdy.
Okay. How about Jordan Addison, 50.5 receiving yards, or KJ Osborne, 41.5 receiving yards?
Both not bad. Could make a case for either one to go over, but the targets should be higher for Addison.
Yep.
This is a kid who was the Biletnikoff winner in college at USC. Very good wide receiver. I think the targets for him go way up without Justin Jefferson. Look, they could both get there, but I think you'll get more throws toward Addison.
I agree. I'm on Addison. Hey, another anytime touchdown there. Plus 215, plus 220, depending where you shop there. All right, George Kittle, you know I'm over, so what say you? 49.5 or TJ Hawkinson, 52.5 receiving yards?
I looked at Kittle when there's an injury. And without Debo, there's more room for him to get the football. It's hard to go over a lot of these Niners when the full deck is ready.
Right.
When everybody is on the field and everybody's humming, it's hard to pick those guys to isolate. But when you do have a guy like Debo out, and McCaffrey, again, who's going to touch the ball, but maybe not 30 times like he's going to get it in a playoff game, who's going to get more touches? George Kittle.
Yep.
And we do know that Brock Purdy has a much better rapport with George Kittle than any of the bums he came in and replaced at quarterback.
Sure.
They find each other, so I do think Kittle's a better bet.
All right, let's play a little fill in the blank. The Vikings will cover if blank.
Hell freeze is over.
And that ain't happening.
If Brock Purdy turns it over 4 times.
Oh my gosh. With what defense? Who's turning them over?
Well, the Vikings will cover if Purdy throws 2 picks.
Gosh.
The Vikings will win if Purdy turns it over 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, even anything with the turnovers, this Vikings defense is atrocious.
Really bad.
I mean, God, it took a Herculean effort from the Browns defense to finally beat Brock Purdy in his career, right? In the Niners. So, I don't know, man. I just, I gotta if hell freezes over for this, because I just don't see it. I guess, here it is. If the Vikings will cover if the 49ers beat themselves. It doesn't necessarily even have to be Purdy. He has fumbleitis tonight. Hell, I don't know. But the Vikings would need to take advantage of 49ers' mistake. And that's just so uncharacteristic for the Niners to do. All right, here's another one. Kirk Cousins will throw blank interceptions.
1.
I agree.
You could say 2, no problem. The bet is simple, though. You're basically betting on will he throw one or will he not.
Right.
The yes is minus 130 on Kirk Cousins. And I think while that's a little pricey, I would rather bet the yes than the no.
Me too.
He's going to toss at least 1 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be down in the game. He's going to be thrown all over the place, and he doesn't have Justin Jefferson. Enough said. All right, viewer questions. Thank you for sending these in. Montana Forever says, with CMC's injury situation, can I trust him to take a full workload?
No. Don't think you can, because this is a game that probably doesn't mean much for San Francisco. You could win if he's not playing.
Sure.
And I've said this now multiple times on this show. He doesn't appear to be in line to get 30, 35 touches. That is a full workload for Christian McCaffrey. Use him out of the backfield as a receiver, as a rusher. But this could be a game, too, where they're up 21-3 at halftime, and he doesn't see the floor or the field in the second half.
Right.
Because you have to keep him healthy for the postseason. That's what matters for San Francisco, not tonight's random game in Minnesota.
Amen. No pushback from me. Rick J says, outside the box, pick anytime touchdown. Now, this is a great question, and you're actually asking the right person here because you gave a great one on TV tonight.
I like Cam Akers. Now, look, a lot of things have to go right for him to get in there, but we know that he is a capable back when used right.
Right.
And they used him right for a little bit in Los Angeles.
Right.
He's been in Minnesota for a few weeks now. Yep. And Minnesota's running game has struggled because Matson either can't get going or he can't hold on to the football. He had multiple big turnovers this year, including the game against the Eagles in the opener. There's a world where Akers gets a couple goal line touches tonight.
Wow.
And if you look at the gamut, you can get Cam Akers at 4-1 to score a touchdown at MGM. Here are the prices: 4-1, 390, 375, 370, 3-1. at DraftKings.
Wow.
So obviously, I'm going to bet the 4-1, not the 3-1.
Sure.
Get the best number. It's a nice range on a guy who could get a couple touches inside the 5-yard line.
Love that. Here's another one. I don't know how much outside of the box it is, but in terms of odds, it is. 49ers defense. I mean, we just said we like Kirk to throw a pick. Well, is it so crazy to think that pick could be a pick six? Of course it's not crazy. So that's my answer. Mac Attack. Feels good to have that name right about now. Says Ayuk in a smash spot tonight. No Debo, overs. He's looking for anything. What do you got?
So his receiving yardage prop is 73.5.
Okay.
His reception prop, 4.5.
Okay.
I could see that happening. Maybe 5 grabs for 80 yards, so that gets you over there. But his touchdown prop is really interesting. He is being priced like a pretty decent receiver here, like plus 130. That tells me that he's very live to score tonight.
Yes.
And again, without Debo, this is your number one receiver. Not your number one option, because McCaffrey clearly is minus 205 to score a touchdown, and Kittle is a very viable guy at tight end. But Brandon Ayuk is your number one receiver, and it's not even close tonight. If he gets the amount that he should, targets and touches, he could hit all those. Over on receptions, over on yards, and to score a touchdown. What are you writing?
I'm just trying to, I was going to ask you a score prediction. I'm trying to think of like maybe a 31-20.
That's
Does that
over.
feel about right?
That's over.
It's over.
And that's over my team
Niners
total
cover.
on San Francisco, over 25.5.
Does that feel about right?
I was going to say 31-13.
So we're in the same, so I'm giving,
which is 44.
Right. So I'm giving a little more credit to the Vikings. I'll go 31-20.
They're not good, man.
They're not good at all. And by the way, if you're Justin Jefferson, why rush back at this point, right? Why? What's the point? I mean, they're not going anywhere fast. They're not going to the playoffs. So if you get them back, then what? I mean, you're just wasting them. And I think Kirk Cousins, they're going to run him out of town faster than your head can spin. This is it for him.
This is not a gambling question. This is a yes or no question. McCaffrey score? Continue the streak? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I like the 2 touchdown. I really like the hat trick. What'd you say, 16-1, 14-1?
14-1.
Ooh.
Now he's got to cross the goal line 3 times.
And by the way, he needs to be in the game long enough to get that done, which neither one of us sounds like we think will happen. That's it for us here on NESN Bets Kickoff. But enjoy the Monday Nighter. We sure will. We'll see you back here next week. Or actually, we'll see you Thursday night for the Thursday night game. We'll preview that one for you too. Peace out.